Set 4 will be played on Newkirk. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position, the orange Protoss from Samsung Khan, nicknamed the Almighty, with 1 kill. His name is Jangbi.
His opponent has WCS Finals this weekend, but for now he needs to help WOONGJIN Stars win their Pro League match. His name is SoulKey. Spawning as Blue Zerg on the left bottom corner of the map.
Indeed. And this map Newkirk, I believe that... Did they end up taking it out of the ladder map pool? I'm pretty sure they did.
Newkirk is out of the ladder
that's
map
what
pool.
I thought. Just wanted to triple check, I guess. Because I didn't really like playing on it too much.
Well, we're talking about, of course, the original Newkirk.
Yes.
Not the Redevelopment Precint version.
Yeah. Well, if those stats, if I can read that Korean correctly, Jangbi is 1-3 versus SoulKey in Brood War, but in Starcraft2, Jangbi is up 3-0.
And actually, their latest match was back in April 24th for the, I think it was for the indoor games. Well, I'm not too sure what AIMAG stands for.
I think it was for the Asian Masters game or something.
Yeah.
It was something.
One of those two.
It was like an Asian gaming related thing for like all the Asian countries, not just Korea.
And Jangbi actually won 2-1.
Yeah.
But however, SoulKey, he is experienced in this matchup because remember, he is preparing a lot of ZBT these days, but he did defeat his opponent SOS. Opponent/teammate SOS 4-3 in the semifinals to get there.
Yeah, there was actually a really impressive series. There's SOS right there, the player that had to be defeated by his opponent in order to get to the finals.
Yeah, but one way or the other, WOONGJIN Stars' coach is probably happy about this because that was a guaranteed WOONGJIN Stars player in the finals.
It was really cool, actually. I remember when they talked about how they were practicing with their opponents. The Zerg players just all practiced with SOS, and the Protoss players just all practiced with SoulKey for that match. And we do have a Nexus first going down for Jangbi, going for a Forge expand this game, not the aggressive gateway expand build that we saw from him the other match, which is good because you do need to switch up your style. I think Jangbi realizes that that same strategy may not work twice in a row. And
Jangbi's just this player who could carry out all different strategy, and he makes it work.
Oh, well, we have 4 Zerglings already out on the map here, and the cannon is only just going to start beginning now, so we're going to have to see a quick wall off here from Jangbi, unless he wants to let some units in, I believe.
Well, that's only 3 Zerglings moving off the map, so, you know, one of those will get taken out, and 3 Zerglings inside the main base isn't as much hurtful as the 4 Zerglings inside the main base. Of course, the numbers, yes, but all Jangbi has to do is pull a few probes at a time until he gets the first zealot out.
Yeah, and it looks like the Zerglings are going to end up passing by. It's too late. Jangbi making a bit of a mistake here, and he is bringing some probes down at the right time. And this is going to be really annoying, but Jangbi should be able to actually prevent those Zerglings from going into the main base with good control.
Yeah, so it is annoying, but it's not devastating.
It's not devastating. Jangbi's got to be very careful. Does not want to lose a single probe to this harassment here.
Yeah, all he can do right now is get the zealot out as fast as possible, take out the Zerglings, and play the game like, you know, nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. Still annoying to deal with, though, but this is the risk that you run when you go for that Nexus first.
It isn't as bad as your opponent making up to 6 Zerglings, going inside the main base and wreaking havoc on every single probe inside the main base. Exactly. So, comparing to 6 Zerglings or even 4 Zerglings, this is ideal for Jangbi.
Yeah, as long as Jangbi doesn't lose any of these probes here. Up, he loses one. The Zerglings are all still alive here, a bit low on health. They're going for the second one here. Nice control from Jangbi, though. I don't think he'll lose any more workers at this point.
Losing one for 3 Zerglings, okay. Losing 2, not an option.
Yep, and the Zergling does go into the main base, though. We do have the gases finished for Jangbi now, and SoulKey, his third base, is almost online here. He's continuing the drone up. We have the Mothership Core now being started, as well as a Stalker here, so we could see some of that trademark aggression come from Jangbi here afterwards.
And just 1 Zealot and 2 Stalkers with the Mothership Core is quite good for early game harassment. In fact, he is already moving out on the map. The Stalker is done. Second Stalker also just finishing up right now.
And now the problem with this Zergling here is that it's been scouting in the main base, but it hasn't seen the aggression come across the map, and because, you know, there's no watchtower on this map, there's a lot less vision for SoulKey, and You know, he's making some Zerglings here, but will it be enough against the 2 Stalkers, the Zealot, and the Mothership Core?
Well, Jangbi, he needs to group up before he moves out, and a really fast third behind us. You know, SoulKey, he was expecting some aggression because he didn't see any tech being made from his opponent, Jangbi, but I don't know if he's going to expect a really fast third.
Yeah, the only thing he's going to think about is defending against this aggression here. We already have 10 Zerglings on the way here from SoulKey, so he's just like, all right, listen, I'm going to make sure that this aggression will not put a dent in my strategy at all here.
In fact, making up to 16 Zerglings.
Ooh, a lot. Yeah.
So this is actually a little bit risky for Jangbi because, yes, he can recall out, he can save his probes, he can save a Zealot, but once the recall happens, his opponent SoulKey, he might move across the map and he might spot the third base. So what Jangbi has to do right now is to get the gateways down and get a lot of cannons at the third base. If not, the Zerglings can actually force a cancel.
Yeah, he actually has to secure this third base. Oh, excellent positioning though here. That cannon there won't be a full surround on it. The Zerglings now moving across the map. They realize what's going on, but the Stalkers get surrounded completely here, and one of them does manage to escape. It's kind of low on health there, taking some hull damage. Jangbi playing with fire right now, and SoulKey, he may just burn him.
Yeah, he's playing with the fire. Here comes the Zerglings, but the sentries are already there for the force fields. So now he's going to try to force a cancel at the third base. The warp gate is done.
Warp gate finishes, Nexus cannon goes down at the natural. There's 2 sentries as well at the natural for our Protoss player Jangbi. He's getting a Twilight Council behind this, +1. And SoulKey, he's not getting any more Zerglings, just continuing to drone up. Grabbing a 4th base as a response to such a fast third, knowing that, all right, well, I built a lot of Zerglings and they didn't do anything.
Yeah,
so
that was,
I have to just kind of deal with it.
That was actually terrible by SoulKey because he made a lot of Zerglings and he got, what, only 1 Stalker throughout the whole thing? Those could have been 10 more drones right now for SoulKey.
Oh, all right, we have the Infestor tech going down here, potentially Stormhost. Good force fields, but they don't connect perfectly there. Could have gotten a lot more.
Just a little bit unfortunate for Jangbi.
And everything is scouted by SoulKey here. That's actually really important that he saw the gateways go down, as well as the Twilight Council getting chronoed out. So now he knows that there's going to be some type of Blink Stalker timing coming his way. And you know, he's getting the Roaches and the Infestors. That's perfect for the situation.
That is absolutely fantastic for SoulKey from this position. In fact, even behind us, he's getting Hydras, and he's going to try to eat away on some of the sentries. He might get 1, but that's going to be it.
Gets 1. Uses up almost all the force field energy as well, though. That's something important to point out.
Yeah, I mean, SoulKey, he knew that the Zerglings were going to be pretty much useless at this point, so he tried to throw it away. And behind us, since he knows that there's no Robotech from his opponent, he's going right into Swarmhosts.
Looks like his tech is all over the place if you think about it. He's getting Zerglings, Hydras, Roaches, not Infestors, but Swarmhosts here, and a lot of different upgrades as well. We have the Hydra range, the Locust time, and the +1 ranged attack upgrades, all starting here for SoulKey.
And Jangbi has to play a completely different game compared to game number 1 against 0 for, number 1 for Jangbi today. It's because he went for a really fast third. He can't move out on the map. He always has to defend. So now there's a huge timing window where SoulKey, if he just gathers up a lot of units, he could try to crush the third base, and you know, with proper micro, he's gonna make it work before Jangbi gets his own Colossus out.
Now, Jangbi is going for the Robotech here. I think he may be waiting for some observers and that +2 attack before pushing out. There's only 11 Stalkers on the map, though, so it looks like we're not going to be seeing any type of blink timing from Jangbi here.
Actually, blink timing actually right now would be devastating. It's just gonna kill himself if he just pushes out with the Stalkers.
I thought for a second it would have
devastating for Jangbi if he moves out. Sorry, I should have mentioned that before I said it.
Yeah, because I'm like, no, Jangbi's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, Jangbi is going to get destroyed if he moves out. So, well, it seems like SoulKey just wanted to poke in, see what his opponent has. Only sees Stalkers and the sentries. Behind us, yes, Jangbi is going for the Colossus. He needs those Colossus at this point.
And we have Swarmhosts on the way here from SoulKey, getting up to 4 now. The Hydra movement speed upgrade on the way, as well as the +1 armor now starting. The attack finished up here. We have an observer just chilling there above the Robo. So invisible, Jangbi can't even see it, I guess, here. We actually have double Robo, so he's going to be able to pump out those Colossi very fast here, and he's on 3 base econ, so he has the resources to do that.
The problem is he needs to get a critical number of Colossus out, and looking at the supply count right now, 191 to 141, this means that his opponent SoulKey is going to push out pretty soon.
is going to push out soon. He's going to have a nice army composition that's very versatile, able to deal with almost anything, I feel. Between the Roaches, Hydras, Swarm Hosts, and Zerglings.
The only problem that he's going to have is once the first 2 Colossus comes out, he's not going to have any Corruptors against his opponent. But even before then, there's a lot of Swarm Hosts out, there's a lot of Hydras and Roaches, so he could still do a lot of damage.
And Jangbi trying to force an engagement here, but that's a lot of surface area that needs to be covered.
And actually, Jangbi just forcing a burrow on the Swarm Hosts because he's just trying to buy as much time to get those Colossus out. Remember, again, with only Blink Stalkers, it's not going to work out. He needs a Colossus.
He's getting the Colossus now, but the problem is the Colossus don't have any range. That's only about halfway done. The +2 attack did finish for our Protoss player here. All right, we have some Blink Micro going on here. We have a lot of Zealots buffer. Looks like SoulKey deciding, I need to get out of here now. And the Stalker's blinking forward. Going to be able to snipe
really
down
good
a
for
few of these Swarm Hosts. Manages to get a few there before backing off, repositioning. And it looks like he may just continue to press the attack here.
Well, Jangbi also needs to be careful because Swarm Hosts are pretty good against Protoss in this situation, and also he doesn't want to get caught out of position. Those 2 Colossus are just saving him in this game, so he needs to make sure he doesn't lose the Colossus. In fact, he's just going to play defensively and get a 4th base.
Getting a 4th base, and behind this we have a lot of Corruptors on the way for SoulKey to deal with that. He's got a good amount of resources banked up. Not so much gas, but mainly just minerals. And I have a feeling, I love the burrow micro, by the way. He just burrows them, sends out the Locust, and immediately burrows back after.
Well, it seems like Jangbi wants to push out before his opponent gets a lot of Corruptors out because he's just slowly eating away on the creep sitting in the middle of the map.
Now, there's already 9 Corruptors out, though. I'm not sure if this is going to end up working here. Jangbi looking for that 5th base of his opponent. He wants to try to make sure his opponent's staying honest here. Observer gets sniped. That's going to make those Storm Hosts harder to deal with. We have 4 Colossi out now, and the Stalker count pretty high here.
You got 1 Corruptor. 2nd Corruptor also goes down before he starts eating away on the Colossus. So Jangbi having a fantastic Blink Micro against his opponent.
As positioning being very key this game, not overcommitting, Owen going into the engagements when he knows he can, blinking out immediately after just, doing a bit of harassment here and there. SoulKey, though, still playing amazing as well, leapfrogging with these Infestors very well, but he can't get the surface area to deal with these Colossi. The Stalkers have been doing a great job at dealing with them.
Actually, Jangbi's just forcing every single engagement the way he wants it to be. As a Zerg player, you want to be a little more out in the open, have the Corruptors surrounding the Colossus, but Jangbi's just not allowing that to happen at all.
Oh, I like this play from Jangbi, sending a War Prism to his opponent's main base, and, SoulKey, he's on the attack right now, he's not thinking about his defense, and this War Prism's going to go, well, never mind.
Into his stead.
There's already a Spore Crawler and 3 Spines there. SoulKey completely prepared, man.
Yeah, well, he's just warping in units outside of the range, and the Zealot's going to warp in. All Jangbi has to do is get the War Prism out of there.
Yeah, I think Jangbi's realized, well, this is not going to work. He's already got a lot of great defense here, and that's the way you deal with War Prism harass. You just get a lot of static defense, and it generally holds off pretty much everything. And
it does buy Jangbi a little bit more time to regroup at this area near his opponent SoulKey's 3rd base. Excuse me, is it 4th base or 3rd base?
4th base.
4th base.
He
just numbers here.
4th. It's the 3rd or the 4th, depending on when they want to take it, I guess. But, ooh, Fleet Beacon on the way, Brood Lords on the way.
This is actually fantastic for Jangbi as he's going to start adding in some Tempest into his main army. His opponent, yes, he is getting the Brood Lords. And for a while, he's going to have a solid advantage against his opponent because there's only Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, for now, the composition very strong against certain units here, but we have the Infestor energy upgrade on the way. +1 air attack for the Zerg players was that +3 ranged ground attack. He's even getting +1 melee, so I mean, SoulKey is, I've never seen a Zerg player just be so, well, I'm going to get everything, and I'm going to get away with it because I can.
Yeah, he's getting away with it because Jangbi decided to play so really defensive against his opponent today. So
and we have the Tempest now on the way. These Overseers, they can scout around, but they can't use Contaminate, the goop on the buildings that will prevent units from being built for a period of time. We have Storm on the way as well here. That +1 air attack for Jangbi, getting the Observer speed as well. I guess that'll be good against the Overseers and Corruptor combo.
Yeah, running them away from the Corruptors. But it seems like Jangbi, he found a little nice angle to snipe 1-2 Brood Lords.
Putting down double time warps here. He knows that the position he was in, he needed the backup. Utilizing that high ground here. It's going to keep him alive a little bit longer, but SoulKey deciding to press forward here. The Tempest, they are, it looks like we have 2 out now, but where are they on the map? He needs those Tempest right now to deal with this army.
Now there is another Roach run by at the natural. This is really nice, but the Brewlers are out of position. 1-2 get sniped once again. And this is just working out a little bit better for a Protoss player, Jangbi, as the Colossus are still alive and well. The Tempest is out and the Storms are almost done.
Storm is complete now, going right on the Brood Lords there. Jangbi doing a good job dealing with those. Tempest in the back as well to help that siege support, and his army composition looking pretty scary here. Jangbi with an amazing, huge Zealot run by to that 3rd base, but at the same time, SoulKey has managed to assault that natural and main base of his opponent here with a lot of roaches. This is kind of, it's still like back and forth here, but SoulKey having the better defense at home.
Yeah, now it's a battle between who is going to win the main battle between the 2 players, and it seems like there's a Mexican standoff between the 2 players. Yes, some of the pros have been lost at the natural, but at least he is going to save the Nexus with the number of Zealots that he has.
Jangbi is falling behind in supplies, up to 22 workers.
Yeah, so with
killed here.
With the unit composition that Jangbi is going for, SoulKey is forced to make more Corruptors than he wanted, and now he is forced to make the Vipers to deal against this.
Now the problem is the Vipers, there's already good Protoss units to deal with them with the Tempest and the High Templar feedback. Both of those can do a good job at kind of fending away the Vipers, and it becomes just more of a positional game, and who is in the right spot at the right time, who can micro their units better.
Actually, I feel like Jangbi just needs to force engagements a little bit more and make sure the Spore Crawlers do not go down in that little area where all the spines are. Because once the Spore Crawlers are down, you're in this position where you have a better army against your opponent in a head-on fight, but because of the spores, because of the spines, you can't engage into it. And we saw this a lot on Aquilon Waste in GSL, where the Protoss player just slowly dies because he can't mine, he can't attack into their Zerg opponent.
Oh, we can see just upgrades continuing from both players here. Burrow just completed +2 air attack and +1 melee. From up +2 melee, excuse me, for the Zerg players started. We have some Zerglings moving into the main base here. It looks like they will be able to spot that Dark Shrine as well that Jangbi's making. Jangbi behind this getting that +2 attack. More Infestors on the way as well for SoulKey.
Yeah, SoulKey needs a bit of everything at this point. Seems like Jangbi, he wants to press forward for the attack.
Storm's going down on those...
Uh-oh!
Oh, the High Templar are getting a little bit out of position here. The Storms go down, but the supplies right now, 176 to 200. SoulKey's still in a solid position, continuing the remake units here. He needs to utilize those Vipers, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know where the Vipers are at this point. Seems like those are slightly out of position, and the Templars are still alive and well to scare away the Vipers. SoulKey's doing a nice job with the Zergling run by at the natural, but, you know, the bigger problem is who is going to win this big battle between the 2 players.
I think this could actually just force Jangbi into an engagement, because the amount of workers that SoulKey has killed here is actually ridiculous. We have a Carrier and Void Ray on the way here. Not sure if that Void Ray is a mistake, but another Stargate being built as well behind this. And a little harassment here from Jangbi. The Zealots will get picked off pretty easy, though.
Yeah, well, Jangbi's doing a nice job. Just trying to stay in this game, but he needs to take a 5th base and start making a little more probes once again, because his natural is almost mined out at this point.
Yeah. Looks like that's what he wants to do here. He's going to go ahead and grab that 5th base.
The problem is he doesn't have that much minerals. He's trying to force the carriers out. He's trying to force the Void Ray with the upgrades and a 3rd Stargate while going for another base. He needs to buy a lot of time, and these DTs might do that.
Yeah, the DTs are going to be really annoying to deal with as well here. So, you know, Jangbi, he's going to kind of force Zero, be like, oh, excuse me, SoulKey be like, oh crap, I have to deal with these now. So the Dark Templar going to be annoying. Oop, one of them going to the main base, but there's already an Overseer with some Hydras here. They're going to be able to catch that Dark Templar pretty easily here. And
there he goes.
Doesn't even get a kill.
Now behind this, Jangbi did buy some time to get a 5th base down, and in fact, his opponent SoulKey is out of position to deal against it. But we do have a carrier out on the way. We're not sure if that's a mistake by Jangbi at this point.
It's the new meta, man. You just get 1 carrier. You don't upgrade it. You don't get the interceptor upgrade for it. You just make 1 carrier.
Hero on top of his meta.
Hero
just leading the way,
man. He's leading the way. He's the innovator. Oh, well, okay. He is making some interceptors out of that carrier.
I guess he just wants to bug out the AI from his opponent and pretty much be annoying with it. So he's not overcommitting to the carriers, just trying to make sure the Hydras are hitting the interceptors instead of the main Void Ray and the main body of the carrier. Just trying to follow around with the AI.
Jangbi getting the +3 air attack behind this. His air units are going to be very well upgraded at this point. And we can have continued Swarm Host and upgrades from our Zerg player here. There's going to be a potential Ultra tech switch at some point from our Zerg player, but look at this. More Zealot run-bys going into this expansion over here, and they will get picked off eventually here. So Jangbi just really trying to make the damage at this third, but it's not happening, man. SoulKey's defense too good for it.
But do remember that because of the constant aggression from Jangbi, he's been able to take a 5th base with ease. You know, earlier in the game, we saw the Roaches run by, we saw the Zerglings running by to that, you know, the 5th base location and eventually getting into the main base. Now SoulKey can't do that because he knows that there's some hidden pylons around the map.
All right, we have a potential engagement here. Jangbi moving in. He is about to complete that +3 attack, getting the +1 armor, and a lot of Void Rays behind this, 3 at a time being produced here. And still, both the players have a pretty large supply. Carrier is being annoying with the interceptors, though. That's for sure.
Did that Viper just pull an interceptor?
I don't think so. I don't think you.
I mean, it pulls something, but
you can't target interceptors.
I know, but it
Starcraft2
just
manually.
pulls something, and it was like really small, and it just disappeared right away. I don't know what it was.
Maybe it was that amazing, actually. Like,
maybe.
I don't think anyone's even tried to like Viper and interceptor before. That just like never happens.
I mean, I know it's almost impossible, but it seemed like it at that point. Well, these Broodlords are out of position.
Jangbi doing a good job here. Going to snipe off one of them. Maybe even grab a second or third with those Tempest there, but. The Swarm Host account is getting pretty annoying and obnoxious now, and that's something that you can't really ignore. Nice Storm going down there. That's going to force those Corruptors away with the supporting fire from the Tempest here. And the unit composition from Jangbi here is pretty impressive. Same can be said for SoulKey.
Yes. And in fact, this is a little bit more annoying for Protoss because, you know, first when Protoss came out with this build, the Zerg players were saying we don't have an answer against this. And now with Zerg players playing more turtle-ish style with this, you know, trying to get a lot of Swarm Hosts out, Protoss players are saying, how do we deal against this? How do we break down that wall? And the bigger problem for Jangbi is he's facing SoulKey, who is the master of defending against, you know, anything.
Jangbi throwing away a lot of High Templar here, actually. That's a bit of a mistake by him, but I mean, he actually still has a lot of High Templar. But these Locusts, man, they're just going to continue spawning and attacking this location over here. The High Templar have to be careful. They could get sniped off here.
That was a mistake. That was a hockey mistake, I have to say, as those High Templars were just suiciding into the Locust.
One Voider getting picked off there. Nice grab from the Viper there, but the Stalker's moving into the natural now. It looks like they may focus fire down the Greater Spire.
He should. There is a fungal down, but he needs to make sure the +3 does not finish for the Zerg player. Make sure his opponent does not get too much advantage.
I think the Fungals and the Infested Terrans maybe
it was close, but nice transfuse. It's gonna save the. It's gonna save
Transfusion saved everything there.
Greater Spire.
Yeah. Well, continuing Void Ray production behind this. Another DT on the way as well. That's a lot of Stargates from Jangbi there, up to 5 now. But if you're in this late game scenario, that's what you do. You get that many Stargates.
Then that's what you need at this point.
Yeah, that's what you need. Otherwise, you won't be able to reinforce as fast as the Zerg player, because you know all the units, of course, come out of the larva.
I mean, let's recap. Well, here is the Corruptors coming in once again. Nice pull on the carrier and the Tempest.
And the carrier getting destroyed.
Carriers.
Well, Jangbi's probably like, I like that carrier. It was pretty cool.
Well, look at those CTs. Going to eat away on the Greater Spire as soon as possible.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything saving that Greater Spire this time around. The +3 attack won't be able to complete. This also removes the tech option for those Broodlords. Not that they were being used too much anyway here.
Now, if you look at the unit composition, Jangbi has a really nice unit composition against what SoulKey has. He has up to 6 Colossus, a lot of Void Rays and Tempest. But the problem is you just can't engage into it because there's also a lot of Corruptors out on the way. There's a few Vipers. There's a nice wall with the Swine Crawlers. So now we're at this point where Jangbi's just getting attacked by the free units, and he just has to deal with it.
You never want that as a Protoss player. The best way to deal with this is to force the Swarm Host, the unburrow, and move out of position to defend certain attacks. And looks like a nice abduct there, going to take out that Mothership Core.
I mean, the thing is, yes, Jangbi has a 4SET, but SoulKey's not going to unburrow at that positioning unless Jangbi gets a nice engagement into it.
Yeah. Maybe you could like try to turn around and go to the third, but if you're going to do that, you might as well have your Mothership Core for recall kind of thing.
Well, he did lose some Mothership Core, so now Jangbi has to play a little bit more careful. It seems like his answer is going to be go around towards the 12 o'clock position and fortify it for now, trying to see if he can find some room to go around.
And so, like, I guess it's going to turn into just a very late game PvZ scenario, and in Pro League, we don't actually see these too often.
We see a lot of timing coming out by some of the players out there, and that usually happens because it's a best of one between the two players. There's no reason for them to drag it into the late game if they have something planned against their opponent. And now it's going to be Jangbi who's going to draw out the sword against his opponent. One Void Ray does get abducted and gets taken out.
And the storm is being wasted there on the Locust Suck, but that's a lot of lasers right there. And it looks like one of Jangbi's bases here going to get picked off by the Zerglings. We have the 3-3 now starting for the air units of SoulKey. Jangbi does grab another base, though, behind this. It's now online.
Yeah. Actually, the fourth base that he took in that little corner was nice, but it's kind of hard to defend against the Locust. So it was his decision to throw it away against his opponent.
SoulKey grabbing another base behind this in the top position, kind of towards the left here. Dark Templar spotting it, though, so that's going to be annoying for SoulKey. He has to send an Overseer over there with some units to defend against that.
So here's my question. If you want to engage into the Spine Crawlers, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, how can you do it?
You just got to slowly pick away at the army. You have to be in a good position, and you need to take out the Vipers if you want to do anything about it. Jangbi may just go for it. He has his charge up, and there's only so many abducts that can happen here.
There is a lot of infestors waiting in the back, but it seems like Jangbi, all he said is, I want to make sure that the Spore Crawler wall doesn't go up. Yes, the Spine Crawlers, I could deal against that with Colossus, Void Rays, and Tempest, but Spores, I can't deal against the Spores.
Yeah, those Corruptors, though, they can't be too high in health at this point. We have 3 more being built from SoulKey, but the Corruptor Swarm Host with the Viper support and Spore and Spine wall, it seems to be one of the best ways Zerg has to deal with this Colossus, Void Ray, High Templar, Tempest Death Ball.
It is the best, actually, because now you're forcing a Protoss player into engaging into one of the unfavorable positions for Protoss, and they want to engage into it. Yes, they know that if they have a nice arc, they're gonna win the fight. But because of the Spores, the Spines, and possible Fungals, the Protoss player can easily engage into that.
Yeah. Another High Templar getting picked off here. Locust moving towards this other base of Jangbi. Defender's advantage in this situation, I believe, will win.
Yeah, and to be honest, SoulKey, he's attacking and defending at the same time if you look at it. The Locusts are just buying so much time. It's going to deny the Nexus right away. So he's, quote-unquote, he is defending, but he's attacking at the same time into Protoss' main army and delaying his push. But Jangbi said, I've had it enough. I'm going to go towards your 5th base.
Jangbi's sniping off that 5th base very fast here. He's making 5 gateways behind this, so I think he wants to be prepared for some type of potential tech switch in case things don't work out well for him. Nice Storm goes down, hits a lot of those air units behind this, but the Locust providing a nice buffer for SoulKey's army as usual.
And also remember, if they go on a really huge battle, you know, one huge battle, then all Jangbi can replenish is with Zealots or Soccer. So he has a lot of minerals saved up. He doesn't have that much gas. So it's not a bad idea to get those gateways up right now.
Yeah, he's actually just balling out rich right now.
Yeah.
That's Jangbi. He needs more gas, but he's got those minerals.
And as soon as the battle happens, as soon as he loses a lot of units, there's going to be about 25, 30 Zealots out on the field.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little mistake by Jangbi losing this Observer. I guess that was actually hockeyed with the main army.
Looks like another Observer going to get picked off as well here. That's just annoying to deal with, but you can't really do anything about that in this situation. All right, we have some Abducts going down.
One Colossus gets taken out. Second one barely survives. And, you know, because Jangbi has been keeping the Colossus alive, the Locust hasn't been doing that much damage against Jangbi throughout the whole game.
I want to point out that there are now 42 Corruptors out for SoulKey. I don't think we've ever seen that many Corruptors in one game.
Well, you kind of need a lot of Corruptors against this army.
You do. You certainly do. There's no denying that.
He just needs a nice mix of Corruptors and Vipers to deal against the Void Ray and the Colossus. Now, these cells eating away on some of the Spore Crawlers, but the Infestors are here. Missing the Fungals.
Yeah, missing the Fungals, unfortunately. More Death Lasers over here going to completely obliterate those units. We have pretty much 3-3 across the board here, except for the +2 shields of Jangbi, but you got +3 for everything here. Don't ignore the upgrades on the Infested Terran because they don't receive upgrades anymore.
Oh man, those days when the Infested Terrans received the upgrades.
They're good, man. They're good.
They're pretty good.
Not that way anymore, though.
These Locusts are slightly out of position.
Fungals go down.
Fungal. But that was only one, which means that now the Viper's going to eat away on some of the army from Jangbi.
few of those Colossi getting taken out. I think up to 3 or 4 there at this point. Storm going down, going to try to scare away this Zerg army here, but I mean, nice Storm going down. That's going to do a lot of damage. These Corruptors now, most of them in the red.
Oh, this Jangbi Storm is just going on every single Corruptor, and that's really low on HP right now, but he just doesn't have enough army to deal against the Corruptors right now. And the Locust slowly eating away on the Nexus once again. And the problem right now for Jangbi is he lost 3 Colossus, which means that he's going to have harder time defending against the Locust.
Yes, these Locusts are going to actually just kill off this expansion.
Yeah, this time it's going to go down.
Yeah, that's going to go down. Jangbi not dealing with it fast enough. Unfortunately, this is an expansion, but at least I guess on the bright side, Jangbi, he doesn't really have to deal too much with the Vipers anymore, because if you look at the army composition of this opponent, Swarm Host, Corruptors, a few Infestors, 1 Viper.
Yeah, and he's been doing a fantastic job with the Storms getting the Corruptors' HP down, so if he engages anytime soon where the Spore Crawler isn't there, then he can actually win the engagement outright and win the game.
Now also SoulKey down to 34 Harvesters, something important to point out.
Well, he does have a lot of minerals. He knows that it's not going to throw away any part of his army, so it's better for the drones to become Spore, Spines, than to mine from something.
Yeah, certainly. When you get to that late game scenario, having that extra supply can make all the difference.
Jangbi retaking the 5th base at the left bottom position, while SoulKey just slowly mining once again. He does have a better economy than his opponent, but that's because he has a lot of bases right now with the gas flowing.
Border is moving in here, going to force a cancel on this hatchery. Just really vying for position here, trying to make sure that his opponent is like, oh crap, I'm out of position, I can't actually attack here.
And Jangbi also cannot easily attack into this because of the number of Locusts and the lack of Colossus that he has right now.
And Jangbi, he doesn't want to attack into these Spines here, but the Storm's going down, they're looking pretty good. The Fungals go down, they'll hit a good amount of those Void Rays, and they're going to fall down very fast to these Corruptors. Jangbi forced to retreat behind this. The engagement was not good for him, but he is making up to 5 Void Rays at a time behind this.
Yeah, he has enough gas to go for it. And in fact, that was only a distraction because the hatchery at the 11 o'clock position is going to get taken out.
Jangbi once again just showing that, you know, his Zerg opponents, they can try to expand against him, but they're not going to stay harassment-free for long.
And what's funny is that usually when they lose a Void Ray, they don't have enough gas to remake them right away. But right now, Jangbi making 4 Void Rays, 2 Colossus at the same time, and taking out a hatchery at the same time.
Jangbi starting to look pretty good here. SoulKey is still maxed, but he can't really attack into his opponent. Actually, we're seeing Jangbi do a really good job with the harassment as the game goes on and on.
And that's only because SoulKey actually made a wall in the middle of the map, not in the you know, a little bit towards the left instead of direct middle. If it was direct middle, then SoulKey, yes, he has to defend 2 locations, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, but it's harder for Jangbi to actually harass into SoulKey's hatcheries.
Yeah, certainly.
So now he's going to try to take this positioning at the 6 o'clock where the watchtowers were before they were removed from the map.
Now we have Jangbi attempting to get another base up again here, this location. We'll see how it does against the Storm Host. Maybe it'll just be round 2 with that poor Nexus.
Only thing Jangbi wants at this point with the extra Nexus is just gain extra gas. Doesn't matter if he gets it up or not. He has tons of minerals. He could get it up once again. In fact, he has enough minerals to get 10 Nexus out at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's why he's constantly seeing Zealots as well. He's like, all right, well, I have just so much resources right now as far as minerals go that I can just dump Zealots on my opponent, and eventually they'll do something.
Yeah, and War Prism going inside the main base to do something, like you said.
Yeah. What will it do? Hopefully warp in lots of DTs to make Artosis cry. Not anymore. In Starcraft 2 he's a Protoss player, but in Brood War his most hated unit was the Dark Templar.
What's funny is that as soon as Jangbi won the last Brood War OSL, Artosis tweeted, well, Starcraft Brood War ends the same way it began for me, the DT rush.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Whoa, we didn't have +3 armor for Protoss just starting now. I thought all the upgrades were complete at this point. I think every single upgrade in the game has been researched except for +3 armor.
Well, he was prioritizing on the shield because shield does help the air and the ground at the same time. So
very true, very true.
Yeah, and there's only Colossus out for Jangbi. Well, that's a nice fungal on the Templars.
Oh, another solid Templar fungal right there. It's going to kill off a lot of them. That's a lot of wasted gas.
Yeah, and that was just not ideal for Jangbi, but this is really ideal.
Yep, this is going to pretty much guaranteed kill off that hatchery. Up, the poor War Prism is going to fall though, but I think that there are... Oh, well, the
that's not
Infested
enough.
Terrans may be able to save that hatchery. It's going to be close.
Well, Infested Terrans, no upgrades.
No upgrades, and I think the hatchery is too low.
And that was actually nice because the Corruptors are now out of position. Jangbi just eating away on the spine and the spore wall.
So he's trying to do a few abducts going on here. He's going to be able to kill off a good amount of those units, but the Vipers fall very fast. None of those left.
And this is actually fantastic news for Jangbi because, yes, he's losing few Void Rays here and there. The Fungal is not good for Jangbi, but he just has nice Storms to deal against the Corruptors.
Storm's going down, just going to push those Corruptors back constantly here, but the Fungals and just the sheer number of Corruptors here is the scary thing to look at. Up to 38, excuse me now, from SoulKey, and the Void Ray count and the Colossus count is starting to plummet now. SoulKey taking a huge advantage.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Jangbi, just trying to draw away the Corruptors to the 12 o'clock position and take down the spine wall, but I have to say he just stayed there a little too long.
Well, he does have the Archons now added into the army mix. He's got an Observer as well, it looks like, to deal with those Locusts and Swarm Hosts. The Archons can do a great amount of damage to these Corruptors as well if they are grouped up.
But the problem is, how do you deal against the Swarm Hosts with only Gateway Army?
You don't.
Yeah.
Like, you don't. Sorry, guys. You don't.
So the Corruptors are just waste of supply for SoulKey at this point, but the the Corruptors, excuse me, but the Swarmos are doing a fantastic job dealing against the Zealous and the Archons.
And also something as well to look at. I mean, the Corruptors, they pretty much assert the air dominance. There's going to be no more Void Rays. Colossi? Colossi? What Colossi? Those aren't an option anymore.
The Observer's going to get picked off easily.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, Jangbi, he's trying to go for a counterattack here. He's got a good amount of Zealots and Archons, but things are starting to look good for him. I think SoulKey's defense was just too good.
And this is the only thing he can do now. Try to utilize the mobility against his opponent, but nice Fungal Skull down on the Zealots.
Zealots getting picked off one by one here, and now more of Jangbi's base is getting torn apart by the Zerglings. Things just, for our Protoss player, they're falling apart bit by bit.
This is where the Protoss player starts crying.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't cry. I think that Jangbi played a great game here.
Jangbi did, but he's just saying...
SoulKey is showing his experience.
Yes.
He knows exactly what to do in this scenario. This is probably something that Jangbi does not really deal with as much.
Yeah, and all Jangbi can do right now is just play merry-go-round, trying to fight at a location where the Swarmos aren't present. And that's the best he can do. I mean, the Corruptors, yes, they're out there. There's 42 Corruptors doing nothing against this ground army from Jangbi, but Jangbi also, it's not easy for him to attack into the Swarmos, so if he can get a nice engagement into Swarmos, then he can still win the game. But these Zerglings are tearing apart everything, and the Fungals are preventing the Zealots from getting next to the Swarmos.
Yeah, solid Storms going down. They're going to be able to deal with a lot of the Storm hosts, but still a solid amount remain here. No Storms that could take out those 3 red ones in red. Jangbi, though, he's starting to really fall behind supply, 110 to 174, but let's not forget, most of that supply for their Zerg player, it's all in Corruptors, and can Jangbi make the comeback here?
Can we actually have a base race between the two players? Because right now, all SoulKey has is 2 Brewlers coming out, but that's a lot of Archons, that's a lot of Templars adding in. And yes, his opponent SoulKey, he is making up to Zerglings, but Zerglings against Zealots and Archons? Not the answer.
Not the answer indeed. Jangbi, I think he may be able to do it.
This SoulKey now has to force a base race because he can't engage into this.
He can't. This is actually just too much supply from Jangbi. He's down to 14 workers, so his actual army supply is somewhere around, like 85 army supply, and the Zerglings now moving over to Jangbi's last actual mining base, so we are going to turn into, it looks like some type of base trade scenario. Jangbi needs to kill off the Swarm host if he wants to take this game.
If he really can just get like a 1 or 2 Archon inside the main base, but he doesn't have the economy to do so. But the problem is the Nexus hasn't been taken out at the 5th base.
Does live.
Okay, so now Jangbi doesn't have any income. Actually, Jangbi does have income. SoulKey doesn't have any income right now. There's only up to 7 drones by 9 probes, and the Zerglings are playing merry-go-round right now, trying to see if he can engage into this, but that's too many Archons. So SoulKey's only answer is to use the Adrenaline Glands and then use the Zerglings to take out every single building that Jangbi has right now. But Jangbi does have little mining back at his main base. He has 2 DTs. Where are they? Are they actually inside the main base trying to defend? That is the right answer, sending them over to the 3rd base to defend against the Zerglings. And now SoulKey's like, I won the huge engagement. I took out the Voidways, but the Zealous, I wasn't expecting that. The Swarmers are out of position.
I love that Jangbi did not want to give up. Even though he lost the engagement, it was looking really bad for him. It just he was like, you know, listen, I'm just gonna make a lot of Zealots, Archons, and some High Templar, and I'm just gonna attack you.
And remember when you're shaking your head a little bit when the 5 gateways went down? That's actually helping Jangbi a lot right now.
Well, it's certainly being worth their weight in gold here, and you know the air dominance still is in the favor of our Zerg player here, but the economies for each player are pretty much gone now. They're completely stifled.
Well, Jangbi does have a little mining base, and the Zerglings get through. Where are the DTs? They were over here just a few seconds ago.
Uh-oh, no DTs around the map. Where are they? Okay, looks like they want to prevent SoulKey from making any units here.
But this is actually terrible because he only has 400 minerals. There's no more probes out for Jangbi, so he needs to make a decision. Does he turn those 400 minerals into 4 Zealous, or does he make a probe, distance mine 50 minerals, and then try to drag it into the late game? Because remember, his opponent only has 1 drone, and there's only 36 minerals for SoulKey.
Drag it into the late game, man. This is like the super late game. We've almost hit an hour on time now for in-game.
Well, late game as in like drag it a little bit longer. Well, he decided to turn them into Zealots.
All right, so we have 4 extra Zealots here. We have the Spine Crawler wall. Jangbi will have to eventually deal with this if he wants to defeat his opponent here.
So how do you feel about turning those 400 minerals into Zealous instead of getting a probe out?
I think it's do or die at this point.
Well, the Spine Crawlers are down, which means that it's hard for Jangbi to actually engage into this. And those 2 Brewlords are actually doing a lot more than what a lot of people think right now. He's going to try to attack into this. Nice storm on the Broodlords.
We do have some storms left here, but corruption is going on pretty much everything here. The Roach is getting completely hit by those storms here. The Broodlords have to run away as well. The Spine Crawlers doing their best here, but they are slowly falling here. 1 Broodlord goes down. The second one falls as well. But these Blink Stalkers, it looks like they may not end up surviving here. It's going to be
He just needs to take out the Roaches. That's all he needs to do. GG!
Jangbi somehow, some way defeats SoulKey on Newkirk. What a game. An hour long, but he made it happen.
You know, I was so worried for Jangbi. He did have a nice engagement, but he lost every single one of his Voidways. But that was actually part of his plan. You know, it might not happen, but in the end, it worked out for him. As soon as the Voidways went down, he went for a lot of Zealots, a lot of Templars. His Zealot run-bys actually kept SoulKey's economy really low throughout the whole game. And as SoulKey killed every single Voidway, those 42 Corruptors, he was only able to make 2 Brewlords.
Yeah.
Usually for a Zerg player, they turn half of them into Brewlords, and now you're in a scenario where the Protoss player cannot win. But because of constant run-bys, because of shelling away on that Spine Spore Caller wall constantly, Jangbi was able to make a comeback using a lot of Zealots and a lot of Archons.
Well, we saw some amazing play from both players. That was a super late game scenario, and wow, man, that was just crazy.
SoulKey, he didn't win a single game today.
No, he didn't.
Remember that too.
He didn't win any games today, and he also lost last time when he was sent out against Innovation, so his mindset is going to be affected slightly negatively by this.
So who is going to be the next player from WOONGJIN Stars? Seems like it's going to be Free.
Free being sent out, a very solid choice here. If you can't beat Jangbi with the Zerg, then you can try to beat him with the Protoss. I think that Jangbi, he showed that his PvZ is really solid right now, but his PvP has shown some cracks in it, so we're going to have to see if Free can go ahead and take out Jangbi here, or will Jangbi continue on his quest? Maybe he can go for the all-kill even if he can get a kill here and on the next player. We'll find out what's going to happen after this commercial break.